Stuart, thank you for joining me. Can you just explain what is Running Scotland?
So Running Scotland is an idea that myself and three other dentists devised during lockdown when we were looking for a challenge. And that challenge was we were all runners and did fair marathons and half marathons, things like that. But we're looking for something a little bit bigger. So during lockdown, when dental practices were closed, a little bit more time on our hands, we just started pushing the distances a bit more. And that led to maybe running 30, 40 miles, 50 miles. And then, as you do, get carried away and thought, you know what, we could run the length of Scotland if we really put our minds to it. And that idea grew arms and legs, and that became Running Scotland.
Okay, so what were the details then? So where did you run from and to?
Yes, we wanted to run the length of Scotland. So that was John O'Groats would be the natural point at the top, and Gretna Green was the natural border point with the English border, we thought. So it was basically point to point from John O'Groats to Gretna Green. But we wanted to take in a couple of the Scotland has a number of world-class running trails that we wanted to take and incorporate into the route. The main one being the West Highland Way, and the other one being the Great Glen Way. So we mapped it so we could run through those two trails.
Okay, and what did you do it over? You didn't do it all in one go. You did it. How far did you cover per day?
So we did it over 11 consecutive days. We didn't take any rest days, which in hindsight was probably a good idea. I think we probably would have struggled to get going again.
Yeah.
So it was 11 consecutive days, more or less. We were running 8 to 10 hours a day. So it was like a working day of running, basically. And we were supported by a two-man support crew called. They're from a company called Sandbaggers, who have assisted with loads of stuff in the past. Sport Relief. They assisted with, they've done lots of stuff abroad with. They take companies abroad to do survival expeditions. But as it so happened, they were grounded because of COVID, so they had no, essentially they were sitting at home. So a running coach friend of mine put me in touch, and they assisted with the logistics, planning, accommodation, nutrition, and just ensuring that we had checkpoints at appropriate positions along the route.
So how far what kind of range did you end up running in on one particular day?
Per day. So probably the shortest day would have been about 28 miles, the longest day about 50, 51, 52, something like that.
Wow, okay. And then the next day you would get up and carry on running again?
Get up and carry on. It was, I don't know quite how we did it, but yeah, we'd get up kind of hobbling around like, kind of broken men. And then within about half an hour, we were back on our feet again. So yeah, it was peer pressure, I think, was part of it.
Who did you do the run with?
So it was four of us that started it, four all dentists from Scotland. Myself, my colleague in my practice, Ryan Stewart, who's a general practitioner. Another running colleague, Paddy Watson, who's a dental researcher at Glasgow University. And another dentist, Derek Marner from Greenock near Glasgow. So Derek got about halfway and he succumbed to a knee injury that just the support team said you can't go on. I think he would have gone on if it was up to him, but yeah, the support team pulled him about halfway at Loch Ness. But the other three of us managed to get to the finish line. One way, hobbling and limping, we managed it.
And you mentioned the nutrition briefly earlier. What kind of things were you eating? How much did you have to eat? Was that a struggle?
Yeah, it's a funny thing. Like that distance, it's as much an eating competition as it is a running competition. And you kind of get to your checkpoints. And normally with running, you don't really want to eat, when you go out for a 10K or something, you don't really want to have food lying in your stomach. But with this type of thing, it's like fuel in a car. You feel yourself getting low and you immediately want to eat. So we'd be sitting down at checkpoints having bagels, pizza, watermelon, crisps, chocolate bars, coffee, tea. It was like a big picnic through Scotland, really.
Yeah. And you've completed the run now, haven't you? So what did you do this for?
We did it to raise awareness for SAMH, which is a mental health charity in Scotland. And I think during the course of lockdown, we were starting to see stories in lockdown about people struggling with mental health. particularly in the dental profession, when there was uncertainty about the profession reopening, uncertainty about what we'd be able to do, and people not really knowing how to plan going forward, which of course can have an impact. And we felt that, as I say, running was what we found a very positive benefit during lockdown. It kind of got us out and it was a good de-stress, good stress buster. And we thought if we can try and tie the two together, that would be something worthwhile. So taking on a challenge like this, we wanted to do it for a charity, and we felt that was a charity we wanted to shine a light on.
Okay. How long have you been into running for?
I've been running since probably just in my late 20s. I took it up. My dad has done it for a number of years, and he'd registered for a marathon one year, had a spare place, and I said I'll take the spare place, and he kind of scoffed, and that was it. That was the challenge set. So that was about 29. So I'd done probably a marathon or two every year from there, but nothing beyond that distance until lockdown, when we decided, well, now's as good a time as any. This can't work, so might as well see how far we can push this.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the challenge?
We did, yeah. It was, looking back, it was days that were tough, and but overall, yeah, loved it. Being outside and seeing that scenery, and kind of, as I say, it was kind of, boys' own adventure stuff. You just, we're going to make this, or we're not going to make it. What's going to happen next? That was fantastic. Yeah, I really loved every minute of it, despite the injuries and all the rest of it.
You had set hotels that you were going to stay at each night, did you? And you just we've got to travel that amount of distance.
Yeah. And so that was the original plan, was exactly just as you've described, but and it was a really nice idea that we'd run a certain distance and finish at the front door of a hotel. And then just go to bed. But it didn't always work out like that.
No.
So, for instance, the weather or on a couple of days was horrific, and we didn't cover the distance we wanted to, so we had to rearrange accommodation. But the support crew took care of all of that. We didn't have to think about it, which was really a huge plus for us, because having to worry about that as well as running and try and change accommodation plans, would have been a logistical nightmare. So those guys, really took care of everything as far as that's concerned. They just said, "You're not staying there tonight, guys. You're staying here. The weather's too bad. We're pulling it." And there was another night we were doing really well, but we were coming up. We just had 12 more miles to cover, and they said the darkness is going to set in during this 12-mile stretch you're about to enter.
Right.
We're not going to let you do it. So why not? I said, the terrain is horrific. You can't do it in the dark. At this point, it was maybe about 5 o'clock. We thought, it's only 10 miles. What are you talking about? But that 10 miles the following day took us 4 hours to cover. Thankfully, we had those guys, because we'd probably still be there now. It was horrendous. Yeah, just up. It was like a roller coaster of terrain with shale, rocks, streams, branches, just unrunnable, basically.
Yeah.
You had to go through that, and the alternative was go round Loch Lomond, adding an extra 90 miles to your journey. So yeah, we toughed out those 10 miles, but thankfully we did it in daylight. I think at night time would have been. So we had a nice hotel booked that night, which got changed in favour of a kind of bunkhouse. So that was the rough way to take that smooth. So yeah, 4 guys crammed into a garden shed, basically, with mattresses falling down from the wall. But yeah.
And how are the knees? How are the toes now?
I've definitely got a couple of broken toes. I've definitely got some shin splints. I might have a stress fracture. That's TBC. But you know what? It's all worth it. One of the other guys has got a knee that looks like a watermelon.
Really?
One guy has nothing. We just can't quite understand it. He's just managed. He's like the Duracell bunny. No injuries, no lack of energy. I think he's, as far as I'm aware, he said he was going out for a run this weekend. So,
what trainers do you run in?
Hoka mainly. Yeah, I think my wife has a collect. My garage is like a cemetery to Hoka trainers, like hundreds of them there. But I'll always just generally find a size that I like, and find a pair I like, and just kind of stick with that. Just reorder them on the internet. Although interestingly, during the run, I started off running the size 9, but by the end I was running the size 10.5 because of the swelling. And we have a guy who does a bit of running coaching for me. He drove up to Inverness to give me a bigger size of shoe because I couldn't find any anywhere, which was above and beyond the Call of Duty. But yeah, he did it, and they were Saucony trainers, which he gave me. I'd never run them before. I thought, I've never even tried these, never broken them in, and actually they were like slippers. because they
Really?
were bigger, compared to the ones I had, which feet were all sore. I thought, wow, these are the most comfortable shoes I've ever had.
And how do you find running fits in with dentistry?
It's difficult, it's a demanding job, long hours at times. So I think you have to really just take every nook and cranny of time you can. So often it means getting up before work and going for a 10K, which is the last thing you want to do at 5 a.m. But actually, once you've done it, the day actually is, seems to feel much better. Or equally after work, you kind of finish with your last patient, you've run late, you're writing your notes up, you look outside, it's raining, but sometimes I'll take the bus into work, so I simply have to run home to get home. And that might just 5-10 Ks or something, but it's again, it's a good stress buster. It's a good little boost at the end of the day.
And like you mentioned, the challenge has finished now, but can people still get involved? Can people still follow you and donate if they?
Oh, for sure, yeah. We have a website which is very kindly donated to us. When we were setting this up, a number of dental companies got on board to help us prepare for this, and we had a number of sponsors who helped us fund the expedition, as it were, and also a lady called Rachel Barrow, who very kindly gave up her time and said, I'll donate you guys a free website. So the website's called Running Scotland. Should do a great job to get that domain. And if you go to the support page on Running Scotland, you'll find our Just Giving page there, which would be great. We set an initial target of £5,000 for the charity, and we've almost reached 12,000 now. So it's been overwhelmed with donations from the dental community, particularly.
Brilliant. Well, Stuart, thank you very much for joining me. It's
Pleasure.
an inspiring challenge that you completed, and yeah, good luck on donating even more money.